Thank you for staying with us. Now, Nigeria's foremost anti-graft agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, has turned its searchlight on luxury real estate developer Sujimoto Construction Limited over allegations of money laundering. The investigation, which has generated mixed reactions, is raising questions about transparency in the booming real estate sector. Sujimoto, known for its high-rise luxury apartment and premium development across Nigeria, is now under scrutiny as the EFCC begins probing alleged suspicious transactions linked to the company. Sources within the anti-graft agency confirm that the investigation is still in its early stages, focusing on possible violations of financial regulations and capital inflows.
However, observers believe that allegations like these are not convictions. What matters is whether the EFCC can establish credible evidence linking the firm or its executives to money laundering activities. While the EFCC insists that no one is above the law, supporters of Sujimoto argue the company is being unfairly targeted, pointing to its contributions to Nigeria's construction industry and job creation. For now, the spotlight remains firmly on the EFCC and Sujimoto, as Nigerians await clarity on whether these allegations signal a genuine financial crime or just another high-profile corporate battle. Mondo Bane is a senior advocate of Nigeria, and he joins us via Zoom. Nice to have you here, Mr. Mondo Bane.
Good morning to you.
All right. And in the studio with us is Omeza Ibrahim, a legal practitioner also. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. Mr. Mondo Bane, let me start with you. Help us understand the operational procedure of bringing a suspect to answer to some critical questions, especially when it concerns the EFCC. Mr. Ibrahim, let me come to you with this. What is the operational procedure from the time somebody is suspected to have committed a crime and answering questions? What should be the legal procedure?
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah. First of all, we need to look at the institution called EFCC. You recall how they came into existence. President Obasanjo, into his first tenure, look at the challenges facing Nigeria, which is still facing Nigeria, which is corruption, and thought it wise to bring into existence the Economic and Financial Crime Commission. And after due consultation, I should think, there was an enactment called the EFCC Extramuros Act of 2002, later amended in 2004. And if you look at this law, Section 6 and 7 gives the power and the functions of the EFCC. If you look at it critically, it is similar in context to Section 4 of the Police Act. Particularly, Section 6, subsection J1, gives the Commission the power to detect and determine the whereabouts of any person who is suspected to have committed an offense. Meaning, by the law, they are empowered to investigate, arrest, and prosecute any persons who must have contravened any of the provisions of the law or related laws over which EFCC have power to investigate and prosecute persons. And now, what does the law say in trying to get somebody arrested, especially in serious issue of allegation of crime? By section, if you look at section 35, 36, 38, 37 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, an investigating personnel or authority who is alleging that an individual has committed an infraction is expected to go before a court who has power to try the alleged offense to apply for warrant. And these warrants are not casted on stone. The law is that you must have shown evidence that such person was invited or there was an invitation extended to the person and he refused to honor the invitation. And that's why Section 37 is very clear. Warrant of arrest cannot be issued on the first instance. I remember a matter, I was a nominal complainant sometime last year, And the woman involved, a high-profile person, a wife to a serving senator. And she was invited by the police. She refused to honor the invitation. The police went before a magistrate and said, Your Worship, give us a warrant to go and arrest this woman. And the magistrate said, no, you just sent a first invite. So go and send her a reminder. So the police went, sent a reminder, and the woman refused to honor the invitation. It was upon that the police now went back, and the magistrate issued a warrant of arrest.
All right.
And having said that, does it mean that if a warrant of arrest has been issued, and the person to whom is issued against refused to honor the invitation, does it now mean that such a person can be declared wanted?
All right, let's ask Mr. Ubani. Mr. Ubani, this issue between the EFCC and Sujimoto has sparked reaction on the procedures and, you know, the way the EFCC carries out its operation. Now, from your own assessment, would you say that public humiliation of people, even at the end of the day, they discover that, you know, they are not found guilty, how do you think that they can also salvage this situation? Because, you know, this is a business person that is in question. And if this is the early stages of their investigation and, you know, the person is already publicly humiliated, would you say this is the best way to go, or the EFCC should explore better ways of handling situations like this?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I don't know whether they went back to the court after they may have obtained an expert order to declare him wanted, because the procedure is, first of all, you get the court order to for warrant of arrest, especially for somebody who has actually refused to honor the invitation of EFCC. Then the court normally will give a return date, you know, for you to report, you know, on the progress you have actually made in the course of trying to arrest him. You have to go back to the same court and say, look, this is what has happened. We have made several efforts in order to get the accused person arrested, and we are unable to. I think in that instance, you now probably get an order of the court in order to probably put him in your platform or declare him wanted. I don't know whether all those procedural, the process was actually followed by EFCC before they declare him wanted. This is a matter that is, as we read, and we heard from the both parties, was a contractual arrangement. But there are allegations of some level of criminality according to what they have put out there, including EFCC, including the Enugu State government, and even hearing from the accused person, that one, it is a contract that money has is a contract in which there is a bank guarantee by a particular bank, and it was found out that that money that was supposed to go to that bank, who actually have indemnified the Enugu State Bank, was not in that bank, but was taken to another bank. That is diversion. And of course, EFCC have a right to investigate the issue of diversion of public funds or issue of fraud-related matter. They have very wide powers under Section 4, which my brother has actually, you know, cited. Now, in doing that, issue of procedural regularity is very important. Follow the normal procedure, because this is a man that may have built some level of reputation over time and all that. So before declaring wanted, all those regularities that the law has provided must be strictly followed in order to ensure that you're given fair hearing. But the man has come out to say, look, I'm going to honor the invitation. I'm not running away. I'm not a criminal. And so from there, the EFCC will now want to hear his own side of the story, which is what the law provides, that any person accused of a crime under 1999 Constitution must be given all the necessities of fair hearing.
All right, Mr. Ubani, we'll come back to you, but let's take a quick break now. Don't go anywhere. We still have more for you on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. We'll continue our discussion on the alleged money laundering case between the EFCC and Sujimoto.
Yeah, Barrister Ibrahim, let's still come to you with this. Now, still talking about the procedure. Now, each of the parties involved with their own explanation seem to be right. The Enugu State government, Sujimoto, and all that. Let's assume that the EFCC followed the right procedure to this point of declaring wanted. How else, what other further steps will be taken so that justice will be done, and no one will claim, like some people are already claiming, of EFCC being biased. What other clarity steps should the EFCC take? And especially considering the fact that Sujimoto went on social media to cry foul. Some persons also say that, look, you were declared wanted. Why didn't you visit the EFCC? Why come on social media? The invitation was not on social media. And I'd like you to throw more light on the steps before the EFCC in this matter.
Thank you once again. Like the learned senior advocate said, I was saying something. Once somebody refused to, you are unable to execute a warrant of arrest, does that give you the right to go ahead and declare the person wanted? I'll revert back to the law again. Section 41 is very clear. You go back to the court and apply for what we call public summons. And in getting that public summons, you seek the leave of court to publish that in national dailies or any other means that is probable. Of course, I should suppose that is why you see EFCC declaring people wanted on a page of their social media handle, their website. And we have a similar example. In 2021, there was a Court of Appeal judgment where the Inspector General of Police and others appealed against a judgment gotten by Mr. Prem Chang Wang, where they declare Mr. Prem Chang Wang wanted. In that case, the respondent was alleged to have taken 15 billion naira loan from Access Bank, and they were not forthcoming. So upon reports to the Nigerian police, they went and declared the man wanted, and the man was placed on a red notice on the database of the Interpol. And they went to court and said, you are violating my fundamental right to my dignity of human person and other rights. And the explanation police gave at the court, we have warrant of arrest. The judge, the presiding judge, my Lord Justice Eko, said no. The mere fact that you have warrant of arrest does not give you the right to declare somebody wanted. And judgment was delivered in favor of the respondent. And they went on appeal. And my lords at the Court of Appeal said, yes, the trial court is right. You shouldn't have declared this man wanted by mere fact that you have warrant of arrest. Now going to your question as to whether there are other means. They have their operational procedures. But if you see, we must commend the EFCC because the job they are doing is not an easy task. But having said that, I should think they should exercise caution. Like the leading senior advocate said, people have built names, reputation over the years. So, and Section 36 of 5 of the 1999 Constitution said, anybody who has been accused of commission of an offense is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. But in a situation where an individual has been declared wanted, the image in the public will be that he's a wanted criminal. Right. If at the end of the day, the court or the EFCC are not able to prove that he has committed an offense, who is going to clean up his name? And that's where Section 34 of the 1999 Constitution comes in. Dignity of human persons. And I am no hope debrief for Sujimoto or EFCC. Like the learned senior advocate rightly said, if there are infractions on procedural, what the EFCC are required to do, Sujimoto or anybody who is affected are not left stranded. They have remedies under the law.
All right, Ms.
We should think that there are other means of compelling attendance of a suspect rather than jumping on social media to go place their picture somewhere and say they are wanted fugitive.
Indeed. Well, Mr. Obani, let's address one elephant in the room, which is the process, especially governments take in procedures they consider before awarding contracts to, contractors. And now let's take a look at this Sujimoto matter. Do you think that the Enugu state government did its due diligence in vetting the capacity of Sujimoto's in handling the project that it was awarded?
What I'm going to say it will be based upon what we read in the newspapers. I am clearly not satisfied with the procedure that was adopted by Enugu state government. I heard from both parties. The young man was saying he has never built smart schools before. This is it.
Mr. Obani, we'll come back to you, but let me also throw that question to you since you're here with us in the studio. Do you think that the Enugu state government did its due diligence in vetting the capacity of Sujimoto's before awarding the contract? It was awarded to build smart schools. But Sujimoto's capacity is to build luxury apartments. But do you think that the Enugu state government did its due diligence?
No. Well, I may not be able to make a comment into that because I'm not privy to what must have transpired between Enugu state government and the Sujimoto. But on the face of it, if somebody only repairs motorcycles, and we have given him an aircraft to fix, it could be deduced that it's either you are complicit or you did not do your vettings.
All right.
Yes.
I think we have Mr. Obani back. Let's just hear from you. Mr. Obani, if you could continue your thoughts.
Yes. Yes, as I was saying, I mean, whatever we're saying is based upon what they put out there. I understand that he has built luxury homes, but not smart schools. So according to him, he made that especially clear that he wasn't very competent in that area. It was his first time. So I don't know whether Enugu state government carried out due diligence and whether he has prior experience, in such a huge contract they were awarding. Now we're talking about 11 billion naira contract, and you are giving it to somebody who has not done such a similar contract, prior to the time of award. So that again raises the issue of integrity, raises the issue of being procedurally right, in award of contract. Because I've seen people ask for contract in government, and they do not have that competence. All of them think that it's a national cake. That when you get government contract, they want to have a share of their national cake. Now, there is something I found a bit disturbing concerning this particular matter. You were given 5 billion. I'm not judging him. And up to now, there was no evidence of any of the schools that have actually been completed. From his own side, I didn't see him probably explain that when he took up to the social media in order to give account of his own side of the story. I didn't see any 5 billion. Even if you have completed up to 20% of whatever has been given to you, you have explanation to talk about variation, because he was saying that the money was not sufficient enough. But there was none that has been seen that he has actually completed. And I think that the Enugu state government, from the thing that have been put out there, didn't, in my own opinion, I may be wrong, carry out due diligence on this individual who has actually been given half of the money in order to carry out that particular contract. Just to answer your question,
Okay. I think we'll have a challenge there. Now, Mr. Visa, let me come to you with this. The Sujimoto did say on social media that there was increases in cost over the space of 5 years. Now, usually in award of contract, are there no rooms for variation? You're asking for variation if interest rate comes in and other cost increase comes in. And he didn't say that he went for that. So was it a fault on his side that he did not vary that into the request for the contract?
Well, in award of contract, documents, agreements are exchanged between parties, and the terms are usually clear. And for a struggling economy like Nigerian own, it will not be too wise for anybody to go into such a big contract without inserting variation clauses. Now, if there was a variation clause, as it were, the man is entitled to go back to the Enugu state government and say, look, when you awarded this contract, these were the cost of materials. This was how much naira was exchanging for dollar. So today, the reality is that that is no longer the case. So let's vary. But however, asking for variation should not be an excuse. There should be something that you have started. Like as pointed by my learner senior, you must have, mobilized to site. You must have started work. There must be evidence that you are in site working before you come back and say, we need to do variation. Because if you have not done that, I think that is where the EFCC is coming in. It might be interpreted that you have diverted the funds. If that is the case, I have not heard from the Sujimoto person. I don't know what transpired. But if he did not move to site, and his own excuse is that we want variation, to me, that does not appeal to common sense or logic. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Obani, all right. Let's still stay with you because we're having still having network challenges with Mr. Obani. But the Enugu state government has reassigned this project to another contractor, even though Sujimoto's has already been paid. What does this say about government processes? You know, they are yet to deal properly with one contract. That is taxpayers' money. Now you've awarded the contract to another person. What does this say about government's own due diligence?
Well, you know the answer yourself.
Well, you answer me. I asked you the question.
I'm not throwing it back at you. Don't worry. That's why we are here. So much wastage in the system. You know, you've carried taxpayers' money and given to one person. And now, while all of that is going on, you have gone to award to another person. We don't know what they have done. We pray we don't come back to the Sujimoto situation. That is the problem. Now, I remember during the COVID, I traveled with a friend to attend the wedding and on the Lokoja-Abuja Expressway. And the news everywhere was that that road was going to be completed by the end of 2021. You can go on that road today. It's still ongoing. As a matter of fact, that road construction has been on, defying one administration to another. I think from Obasanjo's President Obasanjo. Okay. So this accounts for why we don't see this project completed. And when they eventually done, they don't meet international standard, compromising safety and what have you. That's why you go on a road, you are traveling, they are constructing a road. On your way back, you are seeing photos and all of that. So it's really not a good thing for a country that is trying to find its feet in the international community. All
right, Mr. Obani, just very quickly, because of our time, the Enugu state government has, re-awarded this contract to another contractor. Do you think this might expose the state to further lawsuits?
Ordinarily, they are supposed to have been what you call bank guarantee. There was a bank that was named in that contract of having guaranteed the transaction. But unfortunately, I don't know whether that money was put in that bank. They're supposed to indemnify Enugu state government. If there is a separate contract of a bank that have indemnified Enugu government will ordinarily collect that money from the bank that have signed as a guarantor, because that is a bank that was mentioned. And so that's why the EFCC is also looking for the young man, because that money was not actually put in that bank. It was diverted to a separate bank entirely. So there is a liability existing between the bank guarantor and Enugu state government. So Enugu can conveniently collect that money, which the bank has actually, written down to indemnify Enugu state government. That was the reason why they may have gone ahead now to award a contract to a different person. But I want to say this: I think the Enugu state government has a deadline within which to have the school, being in operation this September. And that is why they had to award. And I'm seeing pictures of the new contractor who have completed almost, part of the job. I'm seeing an example of what the man has done, meaning that the other contractor was really, better suited for a job like this, and not that young man that was given that contract who has tried to issue example of even one school that he has actually completed, which is a smart school. So they had a deadline. But then having a bank guarantor, I think they must have peace of mind that you eventually collect the money from the guarantor, if at all there was a bond executed by the bank in favor of it.
Now, SAN, the lawyers tell us that everyone is deemed innocent until proven guilty. Now, in this instance, a court has not ruled that this man is guilty. If he now comes out and the court did not find him guilty and the contract originally awarded to him given to someone else, like my colleague said, don't you think it will open another window of litigation? I'll have a challenge there. You want to help us answer that quickly before we go?
Yes, of course, but you must separate the issues. The issue being investigated by EFCC is criminal allegation. On the issue of the contract being awarded to a different company, it has to do with breach of contract, which, if he has done his part, he has performed. But the Enugu state government on their part failed in certain obligation. He's entitled to sue for breach of contract, either ask for specific performance or claim damages. On the issue of EFCC declaring him wanted, laws are there. If you have painted my name in certain way, you presented me as a wanted fugitive, and at the end of the day, the contrary happens to be the case. The case of the IGP versus Prem Chand that I told you about is there to guide the Sujimoto and his people on what to do.
All right. It's a fine place to leave our conversation this morning. We must say thank you so much for your time with us, Mr. Omezia Ibrahim.
Yes.
And Mr. Ubani, Monday Ubani, we must say thank you so much. Unfortunately, your network did not allow us to have a very robust conversation with you. But I must say thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you for having me. It's glitch. It's a glitch, the normal glitch all the time. I'm very sorry about this. I'm very, very sorry.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being the part of our conversation this morning. We'll now take you back to Lagos, where Ria Abdul and the rest of the team are standing by to continue with the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Lagos. Quite an insightful conversation. Thank you. Nagode.